Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is very simple. I just want to explain to you guys how to transition from a regular diet and a regular timed diet to an intermittent fasting diet. And it's very simple, but people seem to have like a kind of a confusion on how you get to intermittent fasting. So just real simple, I want to tell you guys about that. But first, I want to let you guys know, follow me on Instagram. Thick, solid, tight, because we're going to be printing all sorts of handprint shirts for Beyond the Week, and we're going to be doing tons of giveaways and all sorts of things on my Instagram and on Linkies and on JD's and stuff, so make sure you follow me on there. But anyways, on to the topic at hand. Okay, so before we get into how to transition into intermittent fasting, I want to explain to you just real quick the basics of what intermittent fasting is. It's so simple, and the word fasting is used very loosely, especially with my version of intermittent fasting. Basically, what you're doing is you're not changing up the foods that you're eating, the types of foods, or the amounts of foods, or anything like that. You're doing all the same diet that you're usually eating, whatever. The only difference is you are packing all the meals into the end of the day or the beginning of the day, whatever time of eating window you want to do. And you can do any window you want. You can do 4 hours of eating and then not eat for the rest of the 20 hours of the day, or you can do 8 hours of eating and see what I'm saying? You can do whatever kind of formulation you want. I personally have not started this yet, so if you've been watching my full day of eatings, that is not intermittent fasting. What I like to do is start my intermittent fasting when I'm a little bit closer to competition, when I'm getting less calories to eat per day, so that I can do these big meals at night, so that way when I go to bed I'm full, because I cannot sleep on an empty stomach. So I got to eat all my food at the end of the day. But even when that time comes, like I said, the word fasting comes loosely, because I still will eat a little bit in the daytime. So I'll probably, when I get into full intermittent fasting, as far as what I do, is I'll wake up, not eat anything, go work out, drink like pre-workout or whatever before, and then after my weightlifting session I'll have an apple and some aminos, and then I'll get to my cardio, and then I'll go home, edit a video, then I'll eat. So, you know, there's a little bit of a snack in there. It can be like 100, 200, 300 calories. It doesn't matter. Eating none of this actually changes anything. It's not like it's gonna make you lose more fat or lose less fat. All this is extremely convenient and makes it a lot easier to adhere to in a diet. Okay, now that we've gotten that all out of the way, now we get to the simple part of just how to switch from eating all the time in the daytime, whenever you wake up, you start eating breakfast and you eat all the way until you go to bed, to this new intermittent fasting style where you wake up, you don't eat anything for the whole day, and then you finally break your fast or whatever. You start eating later at night, maybe start at 6 and end at 10 or 11, go to bed. How do we actually get ourselves over to that point, right? Well, there's two versions, there's two techniques that I like to use to get into intermittent fasting. And the first one is very simple. Basically, for whatever day before you want to start your intermittent fasting, just eat like you regularly would. So you wake up, you have your breakfast, have your lunch, have your snacks, have your dinner or whatever, and then you're gonna have an extra 600 calories, or 4, 5, 6, 700, whatever, how many calories you want. You're gonna have an extra meal. I know that sounds crazy, but you're gonna have an extra meal after dinner, and then you're gonna go to bed. So you're gonna go to bed extra full, right? You're gonna be going over maintenance. The idea here is that tomorrow morning you should, I mean, you probably won't be super full, but you'll be more full than when you would regularly wake up, like off eating a deficit. And then it'll be easier for you to not eat breakfast, not eat lunch, get through your workout, just kind of like, just suffer it, man. Just like get through it, and then finally break your fast at the right time, whatever it is that you want to do it. Let's say it's 6, so you start eating. And then now you've basically just switched over to intermittent fasting, because now you get to eat all those calories, your entire days of calories, right then at the end window. And then the next day you just wake up and then you don't eat and start at 6 o'clock again. So you see what I'm saying? You just overeat a little bit on the day before you start the intermittent fasting, then you won't have to eat as much or at all on the first day, and then you'll just be straight up starting intermittent fasting at the right schedule. For some people, that might be a little bit of a trouble, because some people can't eat that many calories the night before and force that into themselves, or some people just don't want to do it like that. They don't want to just force themselves to not eat the next day for like 10 hours or whatever. So this is kind of a slower transition into it. What you can basically do is, before you're actually switching over to intermittent fasting, you're just eating regular, just eat regular like you usually do, and then say tomorrow's the first day that I want to start implementing the technique. So eat regularly today all the way until you go to bed, and then tomorrow, when you would usually wake up and start eating breakfast as soon as you wake up, instead wait 2, maybe 3 hours until you have that first meal. Nothing's really changing at all. You're just waiting an hour, 2 hours, and then eating. And then that's it. Then just eat regularly throughout the day. And then the next day, wait 3, maybe 4 hours, and then eat for the rest of the day regularly. And then the next day, do 5 hours, maybe 6 hours if you're feeling, you know, super vigorous about it. And you kind of get the point here. You just keep moving each day back by an hour, maybe 2 hours, however much you can kind of like you know, cope with. And then eventually you'll have moved it back so many hours that you're now doing intermittent fasting. You're waking up, not eating, and then you're waiting 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, and then you're starting to eat all your calories at once. Simple as that. So there are 2 techniques to switch over to intermittent fasting very simply, very quickly, and very easily. One much more quick and you just suddenly are starting intermittent fasting. One kind of a slower transition that makes it a little bit easier. You like the claw hand? Claw hand. That makes it a little bit easier to switch over to it, and then you'll be just doing it. And for those of you who are wondering what's up with intermittent fasting, a lot of people say there's like, you know, you get more IGF or something, you release more testosterone, or your hormones go up and down and stuff. And there's evidence that IF does certain things like that, but I would say IF, don't do it because you want to lose more weight. Do it because you have trouble snacking after your calories. You know, when you're eating regularly, you're about to go to bed, and then oops, you eat 400, 500 extra calories, and now you just screwed up your diet. Things like that, that's what makes it easier. For me personally, when I'm getting close to competition time, and I get down to like 500 calories. For me, I know that sounds like so many calories, and it is a lot of calories, but for me, I'm dying. Like, I'm like going to bed and I'm just like, oh, I'm so hungry. Like, I could eat another 1,000 calories and be fine. So by just waking up, maybe drinking some tea or drinking some coffee or some amino, some sort of flavoring, that pre-workout, I go work out, I get all stimmed out, I'm working out so I don't think about my hunger anymore because I'm just freaking out, lifting weights, jumping around, doing jumping jacks on people's heads and stuff. And then I go home, I kind of distract myself because I'm still coming down from all that like heartbeat and all those epinephrine and hormones and whatnot flying around my body. Then I edit, so I'm kind of like busy, I'm working and stuff, and then finally I eat. And then I'm just so happy because by the time I break my fast, I'm starting to get super hungry. So I make one big meal that's like 1,000, 1,200 calories, something like that, and I get to chew so much, eat so much. I get to use whatever I want to eat, you know, whatever kind of foods I get to eat, I can make anything. And then after that, I still have like 1,200, 1,300 calories more, so I gotta have another big meal and then a snack. Like, it is legit the easiest way to diet in my opinion, and it makes it so that dieting it's still hard, but instead of like all day suffering a little bit, you just suffer a lot for a few hours, like right before your actual eating window, like right towards the end of the whole day where you haven't eaten at all. That's when it starts getting hard. You're like, oh man, I'm starting to get so hungry. You start drinking water all the time, and then you break it, and then it's over, and you're super happy. So it's kind of the difference between suffering cutting all day or suffering cutting for about 2 hours kind of severely, and then you start. But I will say, be careful that if you do have a binge mentality, you have binge problems, I would say intermittent fasting is not the right diet for you. Maybe you can try it or whatever, but please be very careful and kind of note what's going on with you, because IF can actually cause you to binge more or even develop binging if you've never binged before, because you know you're not eating all this time and then you're just eating these huge meals. Make sure that those meals are still counted, still tracked, and you're eating the amount of calories that you want to eat. You're not going way over because you're super hungry. Make sure you eat a meal, drink your water, drink your water, drink your water, eat the next meal, drink your water, drink your water. Make sure you're hydrated, you're not overeating or anything like that. So I know that I said this video wasn't gonna be rambling too much and it was kind of a quick video, but I think you guys know me by this point. I'm pretty terrible at not rambling. I love to talk, and when I get into a subject, like, I speak fast, I speak really quickly because I have so much I want to say about it. There's all these details I don't want to leave out, so I just try to get it all out in one, and I know it kind of comes out in a jumbled mess instead of being like a very concise, simple guidebook. So I hope that doesn't ruin it for you guys. I hope you guys still get the information out of this, and I hope it doesn't like bore you because it's too long. I hope this is all like useful. Other than that, I appreciate you guys coming in here. Make sure you add me on Snapchat, Brian Turner. Make sure you add me on Periscope for live streaming Beyond the Week, and make sure you support the company and myself with a purchase on BeyondTheWeek.com. I appreciate you guys coming in here. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week. See?
Lift heavy or die, MIRIN, mother.